My definition of capacity is simple. It is the measurement of what you can manage or maintain. I want you to record that. You're going to be the smartest person at the water cooler tomorrow. Put it in your notes, put it in the chat. Capacity is the measurement of what you can manage or maintain. So when we think about capacity, you're not going to see these definitions in the dictionary. I create custom definitions just like I use analogies to make complicated things make sense. Okay. Capacity is the measurement of what you can manage or maintain. So when we talk about capacity, we're talking about what a person can manage and we're talking about what a person can maintain. Why is that important? Because when you're measuring the capacity of someone, you've got to keep two things in mind. What can they manage and what can they maintain? Anytime we're measuring a person's capacity, anytime we're measuring our own capacity, we are measuring what I or them can manage, what I or them can maintain. Why is this important? Because when you look at capacity from this perspective, capacity forces us not to get caught up on what should be, but to pay more attention to what is. I'm going to say this again. I'm throwing a lot at you. You should be writing. Capacity forces us not to get caught up on what should be and to pay more attention to what is. Many of you, your hearts are hurting now, not because you're paying attention to what is, you're paying attention to what you hoped it would be. Oh my God. And that's in anything. This ain't a conversation just about relationships tonight. I'm hitting everything, family dynamics, you name it. We're swinging and hitting everybody tonight. Why? Because when you recognize that you need to measure people and things according to what it is versus what they should be, it takes your expectations concerning those things and makes them realistic. Many of you have unrealistic expectations because you have unrealistic measurements. You're measuring people not according to what they can manage or maintain. You're measuring people according to what you thought they were. And this is why self-awareness is important. I don't evaluate people according to what they say. I evaluate people according to what they say, what they do, and what they believe. Is their alignment? How honest are they about who they are, where they are, what they're doing? You don't have to be perfect in order to be a great person, but you need to, at minimum, be honest. Oh my God. And some of you are struggling with who people are because you're not being honest about who they are. And I don't care if it's your daddy. I don't care if it's your mama. I don't care who it is. When you're honest about who people are, what they are, and what they're doing, it causes you to focus and evaluate people and set expectations according to what it is and not what you hoped it would be. This is important. So this capacity level or conversation tonight should begin to shift many of you back to reality. Because the reality is, when we learn how to pay more attention to what people are instead of who we thought they were or who we hoped they were, something else happens. We let go of the resistance associated with what should be. I'm going to say it plainly. When you learn how to evaluate people according to what it is, you eliminate the need to control narratives. You eliminate the need to control people. Let's make it simple. You eliminate the need to control, period. I knew I was healed when I didn't have to be in control. Oh my God. I know some of you ain't healed because you always got to be in control. Oh my God. You got to control how people show up. Oh my God. You got to control how people respond to you. Oh my God. You got to control what people say about you. Oh my God. You got to control how people show up for you. Oh my God. When you healed, you ain't got to control nothing. You let people be who they are and you measure them and evaluate them accordingly. Many of you struggle with control. Many of you are control freaks. And part of your need to be controlled, in many regards, is also connected to many of your attachment styles. I did a video today I think it's a very underrated video on the anxious attachment style and holding balloons, and how an anxious attachment style will take a balloon, relationship, connection, friendship, whatever the balloon represents to you, and destroy it because of how it holds it. A lot of you are struggling with your attachment style or struggling with the need to be in control because of your attachment style. The reality is you're going to know you're healed when you're in this secure place where you don't try to control anything. You don't try to control people. You don't try to control narratives. You don't even try to control relationships. If people want to stay, great. If people want to go, you kindly invite them to the door. So if you have a control issue, you probably by default have a capacity issue, because fixing your need to be in control fixes your ability to evaluate people's capacity. So people are struggling with this capacity thing because a lot of people are struggling with control. Like, share the video, support. Let's get this number up. Let's get it moving. We're right around 500. Let's get it up to 800 in, say, the next 10, 15 minutes. Let's do that. Is this making sense? It is letting go of the resistance that we associate with the connections that we have in our lives. This applies to everything. It even applies to your work relationships. It applies to anything in your life. When you learn that capacity is about what people can manage and maintain, and then you evaluate them through the lens of self-awareness, honesty about who they are, where they are, and what they're doing, then this need to control is eliminated and replaced with realistic expectations. Okay? Y'all with me? Let's bring this down even more. When we release the need to know and understand, I did a video on this a few weeks back, of course, because this is a spiritual principle. There were a lot of people saying, I don't think there's anything wrong with needing to be in control. Well, stay in coach. Somebody got to ride in the back. Oh my God. Somebody got to eat them cold peanuts. Somebody got to eat them nasty Biscoff cookies. Oh my God. So stay back there. The need to not be in control and releasing the need to know or to understand does not set limits. When I'm talking about releasing the need to know or understand, there are no exceptions, which means it don't matter what a person's title is. You're not going to try to control them. This is for all of you that make exceptions for your family members' dysfunction because they're your mama, your daddy, your kid, your husband, your wife, your cousin, your uncle, your aunt, your grandma, your granddad. You make exceptions for people because of the titles that they hold in your life. When I'm here to tell you that not even titles excuse dysfunction when it comes to limited capacity, which is why if you really want to break free in this healing space, you have to be equal opportunity when it comes to letting go, when it comes to releasing the need to know and understand why. And I know some of you go down this bunny rabbit hole where you have to have answers to every mystery in your life. But I'm telling you, I don't care if you're 80 and you've been doing this all your life. If you ain't dead, you got a chance to change. I don't care how long you've been doing it. Y'all cut it out with, this is all I know. This is all I've been doing. So what? I have clients that are 81 years old. I have clients that are 81 years old that are making fundamental mindset shifts so that they can understand that even at 81, they probably spent the last 50 years holding on to things that they had no business holding on to, needing to understand things that they had no business understanding, trying to understand. It's never too late. That I want, if you believe that, I want as many people as possible to put in the chat now in all capital letters, it is never too late. I don't care who it is. When it comes to title, capacity don't care about title. Thank you, Naomi. I appreciate you. Y'all support the show like Naomi. When it comes to titles, it don't matter. When it comes to age, it ain't never too late. What about position? What if it's your boss, your supervisor? What if it's your pastor? What if it's your priest? There ain't no exceptions. You release the stress that comes with trying to understand people's limited capacity when you release the need to know or understand why. I'm gonna tell you, some people struggle with this because if I'm being honest, this is one of the nosiest cultures we've ever lived in. Oh my God. Just nosy. One of the nosiest, gotta know everything cultures we ever. Let me tell you, you wanna know where peace is? Some of y'all not gonna be able to relate to this. You wanna know what peace is? Peace is being the last one to know what the tea is. Oh my God. Peace is when people come to you with stuff that happened 2 weeks ago and they talking to you as if you knew, but you clueless. That's where I live. Doc, that's impossible. You got 2.3. You got, no, let me do the math. You got about 5 million people viewing your content every week, literally almost every day. How do you not know? Because I mind my business. Businesses are closing down. People are losing their job, but there's one business that's staying in business. It's called minding. Minding your business will always be a business that stays in style. So I don't care what a person's title is, age, position. None of that is relevant when it comes to seeing things for what they are. And some of you have been blinded by all of these things, these factors associated with people, relationships, connections, that's been keeping you from seeing people for who and what they really are. And if you want freedom, you better learn how to look beyond all that foolishness and stop giving people lifetime achievement awards because they have a title or a certain place in your life and in your heart. Y'all, well, I can't tell that story. No, you got to come to the tour. Never mind. I can't tell that story. Let me just say this. Doc don't be on here just screaming and yelling and just saying all this stuff. And then when I cut the camera off, I do something different. I live this life. I have, I have, I have references. Equal opportunity. I don't care who you are. The truth is the truth. You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to like me. Why you ain't liking it? Why? Because I tapped into something that when you pay more attention to what it is versus what you hoped it would be, there's peace over there. There's peace when you can see things and people for what and who they are. Don't matter what kind of facade they put on. None of that matters. Now, let me say this about capacity before we start paying attention to how people show up. Let me say this about capacity that I don't want you to miss, because this again is going to be a high level conversation that is going to challenge some of you. When we think about capacity and how people are and not showing up, it's important to not minimize the impact of interest. I just want you over in the corner, if you haven't already, on the corner of your paper, I want you to put the 5 areas of healing: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial. All right. Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical, financial. But then I want you to put somewhere on your page the impact of interest. We cannot minimize the impact of interest when we talk about capacity, because here's the important thing that we got to all know. When it comes to how people show up and the ways in which they show up, a lack of interest does not always mean a lack of ability. Some people aren't showing up for you because they're not interested in showing up for you. It doesn't mean they can't show up for you. I'm talking about your mama, your daddy, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your kid. I don't care who they are. Some people not showing up because they don't want to show up for you. There's some people that are not showing up for you because they have no interest in you. But listen to me. Let's not confuse interest or lack of interest with dysfunction. Now, let me just go ahead and help some of y'all get out of y'all's feelings. Can we stop projecting our insecurity on people who don't show up for us because they ain't interested, and stop calling them dysfunctional because they're not interested? No, they're just not interested. You can perfectly not be interested in something and be fully functional. But when you project your traumas on people, you will call a person who has made it clear to you that they ain't interested. You will call them all kinds of names, up to and including dysfunctional. What are the other names y'all like? Narcissist, gaslight, manipulator. What are you saying, Doc? I'm telling y'all, stop bleeding your trauma on people. If you want to proper trigger, that's the other one. If you want to properly measure the capacity of people, stop bleeding your trauma on people. Some of y'all are professional bleeders. Here's the thing. We don't have to say he, she just ain't that into us. Some of y'all, when you don't like the narrative presented to you, you create one. Now I'm about to walk off this set. Oh my God. That made it crystal clear to you of their lack of interest or showing up or being there for you. And because you didn't like their honesty, you said, oh, well, it's because he's a narcissist. She's a narcissist. Oh my God. If y'all don't believe a lot of this projection goes on, just go to some of my videos sometimes and read the comments. You want to see some examples of projection? Go to the 50-50 video and just read the comments. The one I did last week. Just go read the comments. If you want to see a bunch of sick, broken people projecting, read. Because instead of some of you just accepting things for what they are, to comfort your trauma, you will create a narrative to feel better about your trauma. You know what I do? I come through, I throw your narrative in the trash, and I deal with your trauma. And that's what's wrong with this culture. This culture is so entitled that they think that their narrative is more important than the truth, and it ain't. Because here's the breaking news. Your narrative don't always equal the... Why are these comments so slow tonight? Y'all there? The number is Paul. Are y'all, am I frozen? Y'all there? Somebody type church in the comments with a couple of R's or something. This is why we have one of the weakest generations that lives. Yeah, this is a smart generation. We got access to a whole lot of information. We got access to a whole lot of technology. But let me tell you something. There's some things we can't handle. There are some things we cannot handle. We will take a person's lack of interest and think that they don't have the ability to show up because they're not interested. No, they're just not interested in you. They got ability. They just don't want you to get it. We will take a person's lack of interest and automatically associate them with some form of dysfunction. Oh, they're narcissists. They're a manipulator. They have to have it their way. Da, 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 da. No, they're just not interested. And that's okay. Some people like ranch. I hate it. Some people like mayonnaise. I hate it. Let me tell you something else that we got an unhealthy relationship with. I'm equal opportunity. So let me just watch all the women gasp, especially. You know what else we got an unhealthy relationship with? That is a result of us having the inability to properly measure capacity. We have an unhealthy relationship with rejection. Oh my God. Let me park here for a couple of minutes. This culture has an unhealthy relationship with rejection. I have seen men try to talk to women, compliment her. She say, I'm not interested, and in seconds, curse her out. I have seen women ignore men that they're interested in for the fear that if they put themselves out there, they will be rejected. And meanwhile, we wonder why we got so many single people just sitting and watching. Let me give y'all some definitions for those of you that are new. When I say culture, are you living? If the answer is yes, I'm talking to you. I don't get into this age thing. Why? Because I got some 80-year-olds that's acting like they 20. I have some clients that are in their 20s that are mature like they in their 60s. This culture has an unhealthy relationship with rejection. And it is because we have a hard time accepting things and people for who and what they are. I had a female friend of mine tell me recently. She said to me, she said, Doc, she told me about her dating problems. And my friends be getting free therapy. Tell me about her dating problems. I said, Doc, I'm just be honest with you. I'm struggling because, I mean, I have some people that want to take me out. I got some people that I'm interested in, but this idea of them, turning me down is just, I'm struggling. I said, why? Because Doc, who would want to be rejected? I said, sis, when you healed mentally, emotionally, spiritually, you recognize that you ain't everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. That's okay. Doc ain't everybody's cup of tea. Read the comments. So, some people say no, some people say so, and then they go cry in the car. I say so, and I go get on a plane and go to Aruba. I really don't care. Because when you're healed and you're stable mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you're okay with the fact that you ain't everybody's cup of tea. I'm telling you now, man, woman, shawoman, whatever you are, if you struggle with rejection, it is rooted in trauma and it ain't okay. And you not only need to correct that trauma, you need to correct your understanding of what capacity means. Some people ain't into you, ain't showing up for you, are not there for you because they don't want to. Some people aren't showing up for you because they're not interested in showing up for you. And some people aren't showing up for you because they can't show up for you. And the minute you understand the difference between the three is the minute you're going to have peace.
Listen, y'all, I hope this made sense. If it did, I want you to type church in the comments with 3 R's. And then I want you to remember you've got 2 jobs. 1, be better today than what you were yesterday. And 2, don't forget what I told you.